Imagine striking out the #1 prospect in baseball at the single-A level. Now imagine striking out arguably the #1 player on the planet in the World Series, just a few months later. That's life for Trey Yesavage. His journey is one like no other, led by a nasty splitter and the ability to consistently give his team what they need when they need it. The Toronto Blue Jays used their 2024 first-round pick on Trey Yesavage, a right-handed pitcher from East Carolina University. The Golden Spikes Awards semifinalist finished his time in Greenville with an impressive senior campaign, winning the conference pitching triple crown while tying the program and conference single-season strikeout records. What makes him stand out, outside of above-average secondary pitches, is that they come from an extremely over-the-top arm angle, giving hitters a unique look that can be awfully deceptive. Toronto was understandably thrilled to bring him in. Prior to making his professional debut, Trey Yesavage had the opportunity to make a strong first impression in the Blue Jays' spring breakout game. He tossed 2 quality innings, highlighted by him striking out the side in the latter frame. Yesavage was credited with the win in a 10-0 Toronto triumph. As the Blue Jays' top-ranked pitching prospect, his performance generated further intrigue from coaches and fans alike. Trey Yesavage opened the 2025 regular season with the Dunedin Blue Jays of the Florida State League. He started out shaky at nearly every level, but quickly made adjustments that led to swift promotions. Trey's first start came on April 8th against the Jupiter Hammerheads. He grinded through 3 2/3 innings of work, allowing only 1 hit but walking 6. You can chalk the lack of command up to first game jitters, as he'd only walked 2 batters over his remaining 6 starts at the single-A level. He pitched well the rest of the way, tossing to the tune of a 2.73 ERA and 51 strikeouts in 29 2/3 innings of work. The month of May began with Trey receiving FSL Player of the Week honors for earning his first pro win. In what would be his final start for single-A Dunedin, he squared off with Connor Griffin, the #1 prospect in all of baseball. At that level, it's hard to find a more marquee matchup than KG versus Yesavage. Griffin won the first battle with a loud leadoff homer on a first-pitch fastball. How would Trey respond after getting taken deep by the 19-year-old phenom? By punching him out in each of his next 2 at-bats. Yesavage went on to K-12 Marauders over 5 innings en route to an 11-3 victory. His 12 strikeouts were the most by an FSL pitcher in 2025, and most by a Dunedin Blue Jay since 2019. The only way to go from there was up, as Trey was called up to High A Vancouver a week later. At the time of his promotion, he led the Florida State League in strikeouts, whip, Ks per 9, and batting average against. Dunedin went a perfect 7-0 in his starts. It didn't take long to see that Toronto had something special in their system. Trey Yesavage's time as a Vancouver Canadian was quick and easy, with no sign of struggle. He made 4 starts in the Pacific Northwest, allowing only 3 runs and recording 9+ Ks in 3 of those outings. Trey was becoming Toronto's biggest success story in years among farmhands. Up to the 67th ranked prospect in baseball, he led every level of the minors in several statistics at the time of his next promotion. At only 21 years old, Yesavage was ahead of schedule, continuing to fly through the ranks. The New Hampshire Fisher Cats were lucky enough to get more of Trey Yesavage's regular season time than any other level, by a single start. Trey's beginnings in the Northeast weren't anything special, as walks got to him again. He allowed 7 free passes in his first 2 starts. At the All-Star break, Yesavage earned an opportunity to shine on the national stage, this time in Atlanta at their All-Star Features game. Representing the Blue Jays, he only got to face 1 batter, fellow 2024 first-round pick J.J. Weatherholt, who got him to chase on a filthy cutter for the strikeout. Trey found his form upon his return to the Eastern League, allowing only 3 runs over his final 13 innings as a Fisher Cat. Now the Blue Jays' #1 prospect, and 26th in all of baseball, it was time for another promotion. On August 12th, Yesavage was called up to AAA Buffalo, 1 step away from the Bigs. Serious talks emerged that Trey Yesavage could make an impact at the Major League level in 2025. At the time of his activation in Buffalo, the Toronto club held a 4.5-game lead in the tough American League East. Not only could he make a difference in September, but perhaps playoffs too? Trey still had to tackle AAA first. Again, it was a fast learning experience. His first start as a Buffalo Bison went rather poorly, with him walking 4 and not making it out of the 2nd inning. Yesavage and the coaching staff decided to lean on what worked, the splitter. It generated a ton of swing and miss, explaining his gaudy strikeout numbers. Now into the month of September, chatter continued about whether Toronto could bring him up and use him out of the bullpen. Whether on purpose or not, Trey's next 2 outings came in the form of bulk relief roles, resulting in mixed success. He moved back to the rotation and made his next start at Rochester on September 10th. He was perfect that night, retiring all 9 batters he faced. 5 days later, he was a big leaguer. Trey Yesavage had successfully fast-tracked minor league baseball and was now a Toronto Blue Jay, mere months following his pro debut. Trey Yesavage's first Major League start came on September 15th in Tampa against the Rays. Following a tough first inning, Yesavage quickly buckled down, submitting one of the most dominant pitching debuts in franchise history. He K'd a Blue Jays record 9 batters in only 5 innings of work. Much of the dominance came from his splitter, which got 11 whiffs on 14 swings. Trey retired 15 of the final 18 batters he faced, including striking out the side in the 4th. Being dropped in the middle of a heated division battle isn't easy, but you wouldn't have been able to tell with how he pitched that night. He made 2 more regular season starts, the second being his first home outing. Powered by 5 shutout frames, it resulted in his first career win. Toronto edged out the late-arriving Yankees to claim the AL East title, sending them to the postseason with a first-round bye. At 22 years old, with only 3 big league appearances under his belt, Trey Yesavage was already getting his first taste of October. Again, Trey seemed to abandon any feeling of pressure before stepping between the white lines. His first postseason start came in Game 2 of the ALDS, facing the always offensively sound New York Yankees. However, with Trey on the mound, they didn't make a peep. He held them silent for over 5 innings, with the only base runner coming via a walk. 11 of the 18 batters he faced went down via the strikeout. The 11 punchies set a Blue Jays postseason record and made him the second youngest pitcher for any team to strike out 10+ in a playoff game. Toronto went on to win the series in 4 games, advancing to the American League Championship Series. Their ALCS counterparts, the Seattle Mariners, were a far tougher customer than the Bronx Bombers, with the series going the distance. Yesavage didn't have his best stuff in Game 2, allowing 5 runs in what would be a 10-3 loss for the Jays. He received a shot at redemption with their season on the line in Game 6. Down 3-2 in the best-of-7 series, Yesavage grinded through 5 2/3 innings of 2-run ball, letting the bullpen take it from there for a 6-2 win, forcing a deciding 7th game. At one point in Game 7, it appeared that Trey's maiden MLB voyage would be coming to an end, but George Springer, a well-known postseason legend, kept things alive with a mammoth go-ahead 3-run home run in the 7th inning. The Blue Jays went on to win the game and the series 4-3, advancing to their first Fall Classic since 1993. Kevin Gausman was lined up to start the World Series opener, but since he had to throw an inning of relief in the all-hands-on-deck Game 7, you know who was next in line? The face of our expedition, Trey Yesavage. Only 39 days following his MLB debut, Trey got the start for Toronto's first taste of the grandest stage in 32 years. It was his 4th postseason start, one more than he made in the regular season. Yesavage became the first rookie to start Game 1 of the World Series since Justin Verlander and Anthony Reyes faced off in 2006. One of 10 players to touch all 4 full season levels of the minors and reach the big leagues in the same year, Trey was the first to pitch at this magnitude. At 22 years and 88 days old, Yesavage was the second youngest Game 1 starter in Fall Classic history, only older than Ralph Branco, who opened the series for the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1947. So being the youngest Game 1 starter in 78 years and facing the defending champion LA Dodgers, you'd think that there'd be a lot of pressure. Out of the gate, it was hard to tell. The first hitter Yesavage faced in the World Series was none other than 3-time MVP Shohei Ohtani. In a 5-pitch battle, Trey set him down swinging. He'd passed his first test. The rest of the first frame was a breeze, inducing 2 groundouts for a 1-2-3 start. The Dodgers offense woke up not long after, but Yesavage kept fighting, limiting the damage to 2 runs through 4 innings. Dalton Varsho had his back, slugging a 2-run shot to knot things up in the bottom of the 4th. Skipper John Schneider went to the bullpen the next frame. By no means was it a poor outing for Trey Yesavage. He kept his team in it, which is all you need to do sometimes. The Jays' offense exploded with a 9-run 6th inning and cruised to an 11-4 win in the opener. Toronto and LA traded victories across the next 3 games, setting up for a critical Game 5. With the series deadlocked to 2 wins apiece, Yesavage got the ball, again squaring up with 2-time Cy Young Award winner Blake Snell. This face-off was unlike any other. Trey Yesavage was locked in, and it showed. He dominated with 7 innings of 1-run ball, not surrendering a single walk and striking out 12. No rookie had performed at such a high level on the grandest stage. Those 12 Ks broke Don Newcomb's record for most by a rookie in a World Series contest, a mark that stood for 76 years. Joining his 11K outing in the ALDS, Yesavage is the first rookie in postseason history with multiple 10+ strikeout games. He joined Sandy Koufax, who was in attendance to watch it all unfold, as the only players to record 10 or more Ks in the first 5 innings of a Fall Classic game. Yesavage is the only pitcher ever to record at least 12 strikeouts and not allow a single walk in a World Series outing. The performance proved pivotal, as the Blue Jays went on to win 6-1, taking a 3-2 series lead and moving 1 win away from their first world title this century. Trey remained ready just in case the Jays needed him, and his name was called in the 7th inning of the deciding 7th game. Facing the top of the order on short rest, he made it through 1 2/3 innings, his only blemish a solo shot from Max Muncy. With Toronto 2 outs from victory, LA's Miguel Rojas homered off Jeff Hoffman in the 9th to knot things up at 4. The Blue Jays could only keep up for so long. A courageous effort from Yoshinobu Yamamoto and a go-ahead homer by Will Smith gave the Dodgers the edge and earned them their 2nd world title in a row. Despite a heartbreaking finish, 22-year-old Trey Yesavage had made a significant impact at every level in his first professional season. That's really what his story comes down to. He was able to deliver and check all the boxes, making each promotion a no-brainer. His journey is like no other that we've seen, and it's only just begun. Not only did he fly up the ranks with elite pitching, but was able to translate it to baseball's most pressure-filled stage. The future is incredibly bright for Toronto's #1 prospect, the World Series standout. This has been the Baseball Time Machine. Thanks for traveling with us.